What's going on, guys? Kami here, coming at you with a brand new Kami Coach video. This is going to be coming from BB Nerd PI or BB Nerd Pie. I don't know, I always mispronounce names. Really spoke out to me, so I decided to choose him out of the comments to do a coaching video for him. Remember, if you want me to do a coaching video for you, all you have to do is either be a sub or a part of my Patreon group, or if you're watching this video, put down in the comments section what champion you would like me to coach you on and why you think you deserve it over everyone else. Let's jump into this damba gameplay. So we choose a Spirits Chosen. I like that. Some people like to use the Gourd Slow, but I just always prefer Spirits Chosen, especially because you have two beefy tanks you're going to want to be healing. 300 extra heals is nice. Jumping into the build that you're doing, Ritual Magic giving an extra 60 health per second while your allies are healing with Mending Spirits. That does stack, so if you have two of them up at the same time, that is 120 extra health per second. I used to run something like this, but felt that it got hurt too much by Cauterize, and at the same time, even having 120 health per second, it just wouldn't seem like enough. I love the Possession, the 16% damage reduction. Now, this was taken from OMG, I'm a Bird. I mean, Bird's an incredible support player, and just overall, a really good Paladins player, so I don't know if this is maybe a little bit out of date, or maybe this is something he's using. I have to suggest, though, if you know the card, I believe it's called Eerie Presence, that allows you to get a reduced cooldown when you miss your right clicks, you might think, oh, Kami, why would you want that? Just don't miss. Well, sometimes you miss. You don't know what your teammates are going to do when they're not knowing that there's a damba behind them trying to heal him. It actually turns out to be incredible in the long run, so I'd suggest maybe even swapping a Ritual Magic just for a level 4 Eerie Presence. The other thing that I feel like it's missing is a Gourd cooldown card, many Gourds. So I'd almost want to say maybe drop this down to a 3 and replace it with the Eerie Presence, drop this down to a 3, and then bump this up to a 4 and replace it with mini Gourds. The last two are just kind of fillers. Mainly fitting mini Gourds in and replacing this with Eerie Presence will help you out in the long run. Just suggestions. Is Skye good with Master Riding? I think she is, although we're not really talking about that. Gets her a good position to be able to flank. Picking up Chronos here at the very beginning, I like that. I mean, honestly, I've been rushing Chronos to level 3 recently. And skipping out on deft hands, just going for maximum DPS. So throwing a pre-Gourd on the point and a right click on the Makoa was a good start. Now here's where it gets a little sketchy. You go for the left side. Now, when you're going to the left side, you're forced to use your dashing ability, your slither. And the reason you feel like you need the slither is because your right click's about to be back up and you want to be able to go heal the Makoa. But did you need to go to the left side in the first place? Well, that's the question. Yeah, you may have risked to get a flank coming over here on the right side, but being over in the situation where you can kind of duck out backwards or come this way if need be, probably be a better idea. Plus, you have a better chance of being able to heal people in the back line, being your damage, and your tanks in the front. But your Mako is just getting melted right now. Let's see if he's smart enough to back off or maybe just pop up a shield. There's a shield pop up. Another Gourd going out. Now's the time you want to be back there, and this would have made it a lot easier if you stayed back here the whole time. You'd be able to heal them while they came around the corner to try to get out of Cauterize, any sort of, damage, and you healed up. And you're forced to use another Slither. So good heal onto the Makoa, trying to go for the stuns. Not to focus on that too much. Just start pouring damage into that shield. I like that. So there, you just threw out another heal, and it missed. That'd be nice to have the Eerie Presence. And again, like I said, like it's one thing to say I'll never miss my right clicks, but that Leon just dashed, and it was just really inopportune time. Inopportunic? I think that's a word. And now you're forced to just focus. Looks like she was standing still. Your Skye getting a triple kill, that's really good. But again, I don't really know if you needed to go over here to the right, the left side.
My snake likes you.
Okay, so hold on a minute. I like that you're using your VGS systems. Raise a little bit of morale, and of course you have the important VGS like behind you and fall back and group up and stuff like that. Well, right now, your Makoa is standing in the fire, starts dashing towards that Tyra unloading on her, or unloading on him, and you type U-Rock, and woohoo, now your Makoa is dead. So, it happens, whatever, but maybe focus on healing and not doing the VGS system as much. I think later on in the video you actually talk about how you use the VGS systems too much, so you're aware of this. There's a heal on Leon, try to go for a Gourd for a safe heal. You're kind of in a predicament here where you don't want to be at, and that is in the front, in kind of the frontish line with the support. You usually want to be in the back, so again, didn't really need to push up this far. You're going to have your dash up in 5 seconds, kind of sketchy, and they're starting to respawn and coming at you. Geno shooting you from the side, and Tyra up on top. Now, well, there we go, internet. I like this, actually. You don't want to stand out in the middle of the open. You're waiting for your dash to come up, and you're keeping yourself safe. I like to see you maybe try to right-click heal and then get back in the back line. There's the right-click heal. Tyra sees you. You back off and a Gourd on the ground. That's good. Right here, you have your right-click up. You'd want to pop that up as soon as possible. They're rushing in on point. You want to keep your Ruckus up. Your Ruckus did just fall, though. That is a bummer, backing off. There's a miss heal. Would have been able to heal faster. The stun probably would have given you the kill on the Genos, but the time you spent trying to stun the Genos might have been good to focus on your tanks on point. Your Sky going for the overtime proc. Right here, how you dashed forward there, it was kind of a, this is your last ditch effort, right? Like your Ruckus should be coming in here in a second, and you need to get the overtime to proc one more time. Your Sky just got it here. So what I'd like to see you do is to get on the point, then dash to the right, not to the left, not into nothing. And this makes it so even if you do not capture the point, you're in a safer position. And if your Ruckus does jump on point, your support's not down. The worst thing to do as a support is to get the overtime proc, and then as you die and your camera's zooming out, you see your tank jump on point. You're like, well, I can't heal him. So instead of dashing forward, maybe dash a little bit to the right. Your Sky looks like she's in a position where she can actually go in for another overtime proc. So running back, I like how you guys are grouping up. That's always good. Your Leon, where your Sky probably should not be leading the charge, but... right here, you have your ultimate available. You have a Tire shooting you on your left side, and you have a Leon and a Lex. I would like to see, if you wanted to, you would probably kill this Lex, but to push on that Genos, he's going to be able to dash away. Maybe throw an ult out here. Ooh, now would be a fantastic time for an ult to make sure that Torvald and that Genos is having... your Torvald's, like, their Torvald's jumping on your Sky. Ult right here would help out a lot. Ooh, barely missed that stun. That dash, I don't know if that was really needed. The Torvald kind of looked like he turned away. Couldn't have hurt, though. I mean, it wasn't a terrible dash. Right now, your Ruckus is ulting in the back line. You got to imagine your Ruckus is going to be getting focused a lot when the ult starts, so make sure to pay attention. Whenever you see a Ruckus ulting, keep that dude alive because he's busting out mad damage. You're kind of 1v1ing the Fernando right there. Oh, turn around and heal the Ruckus. Good job. He doesn't actually need it, and the Makoa's pushed up. Dropping a little low. You get a heal on him. Almost able to get that in time. Now, since you do still have your ult up, this would actually be a really good time. Your Ruckus is planted up. He's got his guns spinning. Shield is up. The Fernando is actually low behind there. You'd be able to finish this off if you were to drop the shield. Makoa is smartly backing off just a little bit, but you've got the pressure on right now. So right there, I don't know if you'd want to dash up. Again, you're kind of getting into the back line. You want to stay in the back. I know, like, sometimes it feels like you're not doing anything, but you're just healing, but sometimes that's what you'll need to do. Your ultimate's still available. Your 2 tanks there. No ultimates available on your tanks, but still an ultimate available for you. Still 1 minute and 38 seconds left, and you can kind of break this up and allow your team to push through and get a lot of good damage while they're just stunned. Still a really, really good time to ult right now. Now, not anymore, since your tanks are dropping. Here comes a Sky ult to try to drop out some things. Torvald dropping very low. It's a good stun there, but you kind of set yourself up in a bad position since when you are stunning, you can't really dash. Well, you can interrupt it with a dash, but you didn't. Now your Ruckus is on point. Pushing up like this, you don't really need to do. If you wanted to push up like this would be a good time. It's like this is a sucky time to be right now because you want to ult, but then you also don't want to ult. Your Makoa is gonna have his ult available, so keep that in mind. But if you just want to keep your Ruckus alive, you do go for an ult. I like it. I mean, honestly, it gives your DPS time to recharge. A note about your ult, I noticed you looked into the ground and you just threw it. If you ult and then you press the ult button again, so you have yours bound to E, that's by default. If you ult again, it'll detonate it in midair. It's kind of like a potion for Pip. Throw it, hit the button again, detonates in midair. Makes it really good for you to kind of pop it right behind a Fernando shield to make sure they run towards you. And it makes it so you don't have to have a wall or a ground to, have it hit. Right now, you're just playing a little bit too aggressive. You've got your 2 tanks up, and you've got your DPS up, and you're in the front line, and you're leaving yourself susceptible. You want to make sure your support's up at all times. So I'd say back off and use the trees back here. You have 3 trees right here. Use that as cover. Throw gourds down on the ground, and throw out your heals to make sure you're doing as much as you can. Good stun on the Fernando, though. Fernando, right when you see that ult come up, you want to back off as soon as possible. That's exactly what you're doing, but you're just kind of staying in the combat right now. In the fray, you've got a lot of cover you got behind. You want to always try to use the environment around you to make sure to block up as much as line of sight as you can. That's a bummer. Your Makoa had an ultimate available. And again, if you were hiding in the back, you could have been able to use the tree as a line of sight. As for item choice here, again, I only really go for Chronos, Deft Hands, and for here, that's Haven, Blast, Haven, Haven, and Haven. Haven would be an okay pickup. But honestly, I think right now it's 0-2. I just go for a Chronos to, let's see what he does. I go for a Deft Hands?
4.
Okay, fair enough. Be careful. When people start getting Deft Hands, they start going a lot more for stuns. Stun when your cooldowns are off. Well, when they're on cooldown, sorry.
You've done well.
Hey, keeping the morale up. Nice job. The heal onto the Ruckus. He's definitely taking a lot of damage. There you could have maybe waited for a second, because you know they have Cauterize over on their side while the Makoa was in the shield. To make sure the Cauterize wasn't on there for your Mending Spirits to get the max damage. Big stun on that Torvald. Very good. Ooh, man, that miss minus cooldown would be pretty nice right now, wouldn't it? Oh! There's the heal. Focus on that heal right now on that Makoa. So right now, a lot of times when you're playing with Maldamba, you want to look for, anytime you want to play with a healer, you look for times that you guarantee that the Cauterize is off. This is an older video, so it doesn't have that yellow bar. That actually makes it really nice for healers to let you know when the Cauterize is on and when it's off. But when a Makoa has a shield up, that's when you want to throw a gourd, wait a second, and then do your right-click heal, and you're going to get the most out of your heals as possible for a Makoa. Right now, the Ruckus is kind of standing in fire. I'd probably pop a heal on him ASAP to make sure you keep him up, because he's going to take massive damage right now, and he is actually going to end up dropping. You chose to heal the Makoa. The reason I wouldn't have healed the Makoa is he has his ultimate available, which he did just pop, assuming he knows what he's doing. Now there, if you notice what he did there was he wasn't taking any damage, but he still dashed away, and I still think that was a good play, honestly. Got himself out of line of sight of all the enemy fire, and he's still able to pop the heals on, but now he's kind of going back out to it. If he pops his shield up, I'd probably go for an ult. Now, the Torvald is on point all alone. I would probably ult on the Torvald and Tyra right now. Your Ruckus is coming in. The ulting on the point would be very good. Your Makoa is in the backline, though. You want to focus heals on that. Again, right now actually would be the best time to ult, but you just want to make sure to take them down. We're kind of even on the point capture rate, and you've got an ultimate, a lot of ultimates from your side. Maybe the Skye would recognize it and try to Skye bomb on top of your ult, but you do need to do it right now, because right when that Tyra goes mad, if you can't do anything about it, then it just goes nuts. There's the Skye ult with your Maldamba. That was good. But everything is kind of crumbling around them. So it looks like you might be able to take this point for you. Yeah. And again, not having to shoot it at the ground, the ult that is, and not having to shoot it at walls and stuff, makes it a lot easier if you knew that you could detonate it in midair. Helps out a lot. Okay, I was gonna say you need to get behind your enemy. You need to get behind your tanks because you're kind of setting yourself up to being able to take damage, but that's exactly what you did, so that's good. Nothing you really done there. Running to your tank, I think, was legit. I mean, if you would have ran to the back, nothing you could have really done. And collapsing with your tank is going to help you out and make it a lot harder to go down, or for you guys to be brought down. Right now, your right click is up, though, and your Ruckus is still at half life. Chasing this Lex could prove to be... You could kill this, but I don't know if it's really that worth it. Ooh, and you end up just trying to shoot it and getting dropped, and now your Ruckus has no heals. So right now you have nobody in the front, and you and the Leon are going. I would not suggest rushing in here right now. You see the Tyra, you drop down. Now you're in front of the Fernando and the Genos, and now you're going to be forced to use your Slither to get out of the danger. That's gonna hurt your ability to kind of push forward and make sure the heals go on. Now the Fernando's caught you. Shield is up. Watch out for that fire. Fire bad. Again, just make sure your cooldowns are trying to go up as much as possible. That Slither back into the fight, not the greatest, but turns out it's okay, because the rest of your team went with you. And that's the most important thing in a team fight, is your team goes with you. Oh no! That was close. That was good reaction time, honestly. I think I was spamming VGS too much. And so VGS can be a blessing and a curse. It's good to, you can raise morale, but you can also do important things like that, where you tell people to group up. Got your Makoa, got your heals, got Leon. This is the time where you're going to want to start making space. You have a DPS, you got a heals, you have a tank. That sucks that Leon kind of ran on her own. Kind of need her for the damage, but whatever. Now she's kind of fighting by herself. It's kind of pointless. Right now you have an ultimate to use. That is true. It's hard. If you were to use your ultimate now, you could guarantee the kill on Torvald or force out a Fernando ult to save his Torvald. That being said, your Makoa also has an ult. So I think what you should do is stay back, wait to see if the Makoa ults. If he does, maybe just kind of collapse on it. He does go for an ult.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
You could ult the Fernando right now to make sure that the shield goes down.
3, 2, 1.
That's actually a pretty good ult right there, making sure you're hitting as many as possible. But the ults from the bomb, able to connect on one. Things start to see Like they're crumbling. So people might ask, was the ult worth it there? Was it not worth it there? Now, it's hard to say. Really, if you want to be safe, it probably wasn't. But the thing is, since they defended it to 3-1, and 3-1's really, really detrimental to come up from, because you have that glaring problem where if they just capture one more, it's over. And it's a lot of pressure for your team. That being said, though, the payload did have a long ways to go, but sometimes even from that distance, I mean, it was close enough to maybe debate using ults, but I think in the long run probably be safer just to hold on to it and make sure that you have them to guarantee your next fight point to be a victory and give yourself a 300 credit boost. They don't really seem like they're pushing on the left or right side. They just kind of seem like they're falling on point. So keep the high ground, you know, use the boxes as cover. You don't really need to drop down.
No.
Left side's all right too. Like I said, they weren't pushing left or right side. The thing is, you could have held that position up there at the top, but you decided to drop down, and that kind of puts you at a slightly less advantageous spot because now you're in the realm of possibility of getting shot at by the Torvald and the Fernando. That was mainly on the Ruckus, not really backing off. There are cauterizes on the field. Ruckus, be aware. Right now, your Ruckus fell. Now your Makoa fell. So this is actually a really cool situation that you're in. Not really, but it is. This is the time that you debate, do I die or do I try to stay alive? Let's give it a few more seconds and I'll tell you your option. The thing is, though, you don't want to peek here. All right, you're dashing on a point. Okay, so this is what you'd want to do. You could either A, do what you're doing now, dash on a point and die as soon as possible. That's fine. Hell, you could have even turned around and dashed off the point. And that's going to allow you to respawn with your tank, your Makoa. Your Ruckus was going to be able to come in on point and retake. That being said, though, it's 42%, right? A little late in the game. Capture point's going to be going pretty quick. So what do you do? Do you die or do you not die? And that's a decision you need to make. And that's kind of comes with experience to figure out, will I have enough time to respawn and get back to the point? It would have been, honestly, the Fernando and Torvald are going to be really hard to chase you down. You might have been able to juke some people around, and if the DPS are looking at you, then your tanks can retake the point. You have a lot better presence with the tanks because they can actually hook, they can do long range damage, and Fernando and Torvald can just sit there and look stupid with their shields. But instead you're dashing on the point. Oh, you don't actually dash onto the point, but a lot of them are sitting there and you're doing a lot of good AoE damage, but it's not doing anything, really. You're not stalling, you're just kind of doing mediocre damage. You're going to want to fall back. Don't push this anymore. You don't want to stun, you don't want to do anything. You have your DPS, you have your tanks coming back, and you're risking a chance to get staggered right now. There's a good stun on the Genos, but you do get killed. And now as your Ruckus is coming back, you're not going to be able to get back in time. I don't think if you would have died right away, you would have been able to get back in time. That Ruckus just needs to get on point. There's the attempt. As you were dead, I'd suggest buying like a Haven or something. Just something to try to get you a little bit more of a chance. But your team's just kind of getting melted one by one.
Is that good? Not bad. Enemies unstoppable.
There's a good Torvald ult. Always got to have that last-ditch effort. So as we're watching this, I just kind of want to review over some of the tips. First thing is loadouts and item decisions, kind of the cards of the game. What was that triple? Woo-wee! It's a doozy. So your loadout, I'd suggest getting the Eerie Presence. It's going to help you out a lot. Oh no, demotion. We didn't see that. So when you miss a right-click heal, it allows you to get a lowered cooldown, which is going to help you out a lot. I'd also suggest going with mini gourds. That plus the Chronoses makes it so if you miss a heal at Chronos 2, it's insane. It's literally almost no cooldown. Item choices, I dig. Chronos and Deft Hands, those are probably the two best items you can be picking up on Damba. As for your gameplay, overall, you were healing your team. Focus on staying in the back, not using your slithers when you don't really need to. If you're trying to get to a different position and it's not even a better position, that's just not worth using the slither. Keep it when you need to use it, when people jump on you. Work on hitting your right-click heals more often, and make sure you keep those cooldowns off as much as possible, which means you're just spamming them every single time you get them, especially in the combat. And the ult, remember, you can tap the ult again to detonate in midair. Helps out a lot so you're not forced to run in and throw it at the ground. I mean, solid gameplay, you know? I'm here to critique. I hope anyone doesn't feel like I'm badgering them. I could probably watch my own gameplay video and point out tons of mistakes. But we won't do that, okay? What I will say is if you're interested in getting your own gameplay coached, feel free to toss down in the comments the champion you'll be playing and why you think I should choose you over everyone else. And of course, if you are a Patreon or a sub of mine on Twitch, just toss me a message in Discord. I'll hook you up automatically. No random chance there. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. Hey, thanks for watching. I'm not gonna be one of those people who asks you to like and subscribe, so I'm not gonna ask.